Picture this, a world where you no longer need to work for your income. Every month, a check from the government lands in your account, guaranteeing financial stability. Sounds like a dream, right? But what if this guaranteed income comes with hidden costs, limitations on freedom, restrictions on your choices, or even a loss of privacy? Today, we're diving deep into Universal Basic Income, or UBI. While it promises financial security, there are concerns it might ultimately serve as a tool to consolidate power and control over individual lives. Stick around as we unpack the truth behind UBI. Is it a step towards a fairer society, or a trap waiting to be sprung? Welcome back to the channel, everyone. If this is your first time here, I hope by the end you'll join our community by subscribing. Today, we're exploring a topic that's making waves around the world: Universal Basic Income, or UBI. A concept that was once viewed as a utopian fantasy is now being actively trialed in cities worldwide. It's being pitched as the solution to inequality and the inevitable job losses that come with automation. But could there be more to it? Some warn that UBI might be a tool for centralizing power and limiting individual freedom. Today, we'll look at how UBI programs are expanding globally, the economic implications, the underlying motives some critics believe are at play, and what you can do to prepare for a future where UBI may be part of daily life. 20 cities, 14 states. UBI is no longer an experiment. But does it promise security or something far more restrictive? UBI is no longer a hypothetical. It's actively being tested across the United States and other countries. Recently, reports highlighted 20 cities across 14 U.S. states now participating in UBI trials. These aren't minor initiatives. They're substantial, designed to provide insights into UBI's long-term viability. Oregon, for example, has proposed increasing corporate taxes to establish a state-funded UBI, with every resident receiving $1,600 monthly. Across the pond, England is piloting its own UBI program in select areas, offering around £1,600 per month to participants. These trials are stirring up debate. On one side, supporters say UBI could alleviate poverty, level the economic playing field, and ease the transition into a tech-driven world where machines handle more jobs. On the other hand, critics raise valid concerns. They point to possible inflation, the erosion of currency value, and the risk that UBI may eventually come with restrictions on how recipients live their lives. Free money might sound good, but have you noticed rising prices? Is UBI really a lifeline or just a sign of deeper financial troubles? To understand the push for UBI, we need to consider the financial context. Government stimulus programs have become increasingly common, especially during economic crises. During the recent global downturns, stimulus checks were a lifeline for many. People welcomed the extra cash, even if it was a temporary measure. But soon after, we saw a different side effect emerge. Prices on essential goods, groceries, utilities, housing, all began to climb. The Consumer Price Index offers a clear picture of this trend, showing how the US dollar's purchasing power has been on a steady decline for over a century. In fact, the dollar's value has plummeted since 1913 and shows no signs of recovery. Critics argue that offering a guaranteed income in a context of consistent currency devaluation is risky. Will $1,600 a month be enough if inflation keeps rising and the cost of living spirals out of control? It's a valid question, one that UBI proponents must grapple with if they hope to implement these programs on a larger scale. National debt is climbing. Can a nation already in massive debt afford to hand out UBI? Or will this create a whole new level of dependency? Another looming issue is the staggering national debt, which could impact the future of UBI. Recent forecasts predict that U.S. federal debt will reach unprecedented levels within the next decade. In 2024, we're already far down this path, with some analysts suggesting we may hit $54 trillion well before the originally projected date of 2034. As debt mounts, inflation often follows, leading to higher costs for everything and reducing the value of a fixed income like UBI. If we adopt UBI widely, can it be sustainable in a climate of rising debt? The big picture becomes even more concerning when we consider this debt in conjunction with UBI. When a government owes trillions of dollars, and if income levels stagnate, it's hard to imagine a future where UBI doesn't become a financial strain. So, what does this mean for us? Some say we may end up in a situation where UBI isn't a gift from the government, but a necessary evil that locks us into dependency. A guaranteed income might come with conditions. What if you risk losing it for speaking out? Some critics believe this could be a powerful tool for control. Public figures like David Icke have voiced concerns about UBI. Icke has warned for years that UBI, while presented as a form of financial security, may ultimately be used as a tool for control. He argues that by making citizens financially dependent, governments could create a system where people are essentially forced to comply with certain behaviors and expectations. If someone disagrees with government policy, challenges the system, or even questions the status quo, they could be at risk of losing their guaranteed income. Icke believes that this system of control would only be possible if people willingly submit to it. His point is that a few people can't control billions without the billions allowing it. The risk, he argues, is that by accepting UBI without question, we may unknowingly surrender our financial autonomy. And while this might sound like a dystopian plot, consider how quickly digital surveillance and financial tracking have become accepted in recent years. Robots are here to stay. But if they take over our jobs, is UBI the only way to survive? Or is it just a way to make us more replaceable? Automation is rapidly changing the workforce, and UBI is often positioned as a solution to the challenges automation creates. Elon Musk, for instance, has been a major advocate for UBI, stating that the widespread adoption of robotics and AI will lead to mass unemployment. Musk has even developed a robot, Optimus, capable of performing tasks once exclusively handled by humans. Musk's point is simple. With technology advancing so fast, the job market will soon look very different. As robots take over more physical and even intellectual tasks, human labor may not be as essential. But here's where it gets tricky. While Musk acknowledges that UBI could address the financial needs created by this shift, he's also the one accelerating the automation that makes UBI necessary. Musk has warned that as robots become more capable, there will be fewer and fewer jobs that a robot cannot do better. If UBI becomes the norm, will people lose the ability to create value for themselves outside of government-provided income? It's a serious question that we need to consider as we move towards an automated future. A paycheck from the government might cover expenses, but can it replace a sense of purpose? Let's consider the emotional costs of UBI. There's another dimension to consider with UBI, the psychological effect of losing traditional jobs. For many people, work isn't just a source of income. It's also a source of purpose, identity, and fulfillment. When that connection to meaningful work is removed, what's left? Some argue that relying solely on UBI might leave individuals feeling purposeless. Studies show that a significant portion of our self-worth is tied to our professional identity and sense of contribution. If jobs disappear and people have no alternative but to rely on UBI, will they still feel like valued members of society? Musk has expressed concerns about this, suggesting that UBI might address the economic side of things, but leaves the question of purpose unanswered. Without work to give structure and meaning to our lives, people might struggle with feelings of worthlessness or lack of direction. UBI may provide a financial solution, but what about the deeper human needs for connection, contribution, and growth? What happens when the money we depend on loses its value? The true cost of UBI might be a weakened currency and centralized control. UBI isn't just an American issue, it's tied to a global trend of fiat currency devaluation. When governments control currency, they can print money as needed. This may offer short-term relief, but often leads to a steady decline in currency value. Critics argue that UBI is part of a broader plan to centralize financial control. As people become more dependent on government-issued currency, they lose autonomy over their finances, and central banks gain unprecedented leverage over individuals. This global trend is particularly concerning in the context of UBI. By increasing reliance on government support, critics argue we're moving toward a future where financial independence becomes nearly impossible for ordinary citizens. The fear is that UBI will become a form of soft control, with people slowly surrendering their autonomy without even realizing it. Dependency on a monthly check might mean giving up more control than we realize. Could UBI lead to a world of centralized financial power? For some, UBI represents a step towards centralized control. It's a future where financial independence fades and people are locked into a system of monthly government checks. Once UBI becomes an essential part of life, it wouldn't be a stretch for governments to attach conditions. Central banks and elites could control who receives payments, how much they receive, and under what conditions. This scenario may sound far-fetched, but it aligns with growing trends of increased surveillance and digital control. This isn't just speculation. We're already seeing signs that these systems are being put into place. With digital currencies and surveillance becoming more prevalent, the pieces are already there for a world where financial control rests with a small, powerful group. As citizens, it's crucial to be aware and consider the potential impact of these shifts. UBI might become reality, but that doesn't mean we have to lose our independence. Let's explore ways to stay financially resilient. So, what can we do? While UBI might bring short-term relief, long-term financial security often comes from holding assets that retain value. Investing in tangible assets like gold, silver, and real estate can be a hedge against currency devaluation. Building diverse income streams, whether through a side business or investments, can help maintain a level of independence that UBI alone may not offer. In addition, financial literacy is a powerful tool. Understanding how inflation, currency devaluation, and debt affect your money can empower you to make informed choices. As we move closer to a world where UBI could become the norm, taking proactive steps now can help protect your freedom in the long term. As we face the future, UBI stands at the intersection of hope and caution. It promises relief, but it may also come with restrictions we can't see just yet. Could it empower us, or ultimately hold us back? By understanding the full scope of UBI, its potential and its pitfalls, we can make choices that preserve our freedom, independence, and financial security. If this conversation got you thinking, don't stop here. Hit the like button, subscribe, and make sure your notifications are on. Thanks for watching, and remember, the best way to protect your future is to stay informed, stay prepared, and always question what lies beneath the surface.